In this episode of Occult Unmasked, we're going to be talking about the occult bookstore David Bowie most likely visited in the year 1976 when he was living in Los Angeles. I talked with the person who worked there, and they might also have been the owner. They told me that they're not sure if David Bowie ever was there, but that they're pretty sure Jimmy Page, the lead guitarist of Led Zeppelin, has been there, which doesn't surprise me at all. PANPIPES is based on Pan, the Pan god that, according to legend, plays a pan flute. Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's where the Pied Piper mythology comes from, or perhaps that's from somewhere else, but in the occult, there is a Pan Piper. Perhaps it's different from the Pied Piper, but the Pan Piper is a satyr, half man, half goat. The Pan Piper plays a panpipe, and according to legend, there is an obscure island where people still play the pan flute according to their tradition and custom, handed down, the song handed directly down from the pan god, the satyr entity who appeared as a half-man, half-goat with panpipes, taught them how to play a particular song. This is simply legend, but Jimmy Page took that mythology to heart and he went to the island. I'm going to talk about that in a future episode where I focus on Jimmy Page. In this episode, I just wanted to give a quick update. I was in Los Angeles last month. I came across an occult bookstore, which I had seen many times before, but I'd never been inside. So I decided to stop in. I'm pretty confident this is the occult bookstore that David Bowie visited in 1976 when he wanted to exercise his swimming pool. And if you want to know that story of David Bowie exercising his own swimming pool where he saw a demonic entity, check out my video entitled When David Bowie Saw the Devil. It's the first and only account, on YouTube anyway, of that obscure story, which is not that obscure now thanks to my video. People ask me, oh, where'd you hear that story? Where'd you hear it? It is in a book by David Bowie's ex-wife, which was published way before he died, many years before he died. And he was also mentioned in a friend of David Bowie, vaguely. And people have told me that David Bowie has vaguely referenced it in some obscure interviews, TV interviews, in the 70s or 80s. If anyone can dig up those videos, I would be greatly appreciative. I haven't been able to find them. Just because a video is not on YouTube, it doesn't mean it does not exist. So let's check out PANPIPES. I got permission to take these photos from the person that works there, possibly the owner. It's a very cool place. Has a lot of your occult needs. Has a very small bookshelf with a very few amount of books, which I'm not surprised. It probably had around this many books when David Bowie visited, asking for an exorcism ritual. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't even have an exorcism ritual or a banishing ritual. They probably grabbed the one grimoire in there and found somewhat of a banishing ritual, and it probably included sage and whatnot, extremely common practice. There's some sage right there, actually. Yeah, there's some jewelry, there's a lot of pentagrams, a lot of candles, a voodoo doll, some skulls, different candles. We have some ritual knives. One of them was in the shape of a Masonic symbol. They have some magic wands, crystals on the end, and then some wooden magic wands. A huge variety of different herbs and ingredients for magic spells, I'm guessing. Here's an old taxidermied goat on the wall, which Pan probably represents Pan. Magical apothecary, pagan goods, occult supplies. Black and white tile, which is very symbolic. Very interesting place. I asked the owner or the employee, which I assume they're the owner, because they knew a lot about the place. They've either been working there forever or they own the place. They said it's been open since 1971 and is just off of Hollywood Boulevard. I can't remember the exact location, but you can look it up. PANPIPES, near the 6400 West Hollywood Boulevard. You take a right in the direction away from the Hollywood sign, and it's not too far from this really good view of the Hollywood sign. So check out PANPIPES in the future. Being an anti-occultist, I'm interested in studying the occult, but I do not practice it. And so I did not purchase any items from this place, and people might say this is an advertisement. I'm not advertising their potions. I'm not advertising these things. These things are inanimate objects, but some people claim that negative entities can attach themselves to objects. That's not an opinion I personally hold, as I personally believe demonic entities or spiritual entities, good or bad, are independent of third-dimensional objects. They can trick people into thinking they're connected with it, other than it being the cherished heirloom handed down from generation to generation. I doubt an object really has much connection with the spiritual. After we pass on, I don't think we have much connection with physical objects, unless we were extremely physically minded, but even then, I personally believe when we pass on, we ascend through a couple layers of dimensions, making it near impossible for communication, except during rare circumstances. I can't prove it, and it's not based on a book someone told me, it just is intuition concerning demonic entities. I know for a fact they exist. When I entered the building, PANPIPES, you might say I'm intuitive, and I could definitely sense something was in there, but it kept to itself. So whatever was in there didn't bother me. It didn't walk through me. It stuck to its favorite location, and it didn't bother me. I was respectful of the employee working there, very respectful. I asked permission to take photos, and these are the photos I took. It's an interesting place. If I was David Bowie in 1976, I guarantee just off of Hollywood Boulevard would be a place I would check out. So I guarantee this is most likely the occult shop David Bowie stopped by in 1976 when he was living in Los Angeles briefly. I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy Page has been here more than a couple times. Jimmy Page is a very serious Crowley follower of the occult arts. How much does he actually practice them or just believe in them? Who knows? I'm going to delve into that, though, in a future episode when I talk about Jimmy Page exclusively. I just wanted to share this with you until next time, and I am making many more videos. Occult Unmasked, Pure Medical, Hoax Hunter. Stay tuned. New videos coming soon. This has been John Razimus with Occult Unmasked. Be seeing you.